10, it's mentioned there that you have to complete 6 months sea service and under watchkeeping duties and supervision of the watchkeeping engineer. Engineer officers bear the same number of stripes and cuffs and on epaulets as deck officers with a complementary rank. Katulad po nung nandito, gentlemen, can you stand up? Ito po yung epaulets. Ayan, yun natutong po sa kanyang shoulder board para po police. So, pagka nagkaroon po siya ng two stripes, ibig sabihin niya po sa barko ay second assistant engineer or third engineer. Pag naging tatlo po yan, magiging first assistant engineer siya or second engineer. At pag naging apat, chief engineer na siya. So, we also put that on our uniforms whenever we are on ashore or in port, so that the port authorities can determine what rank we have. Para pagdating nila ron, they can immediately say, oh, chief engineer, pagka meron siyang apat na para. Oh, third engineer. And of course, captains, mayroong iba yan. Yung kanila ay, sa amin ay propeller because we are engineers. And for the deck officers, meron po yung anchor. Anchor naman sa kanila doon sa gilid. Okay. Marine engineers not only work on board the ship, as I mentioned earlier, they are also involved in shipbuilding and ship repair. They design, develop, and construct ships and the associated machinery and keep them maintained and repaired. In merchant marine, they are the officers who make sure that the machinery equipment, instruments, and systems on ships work safely and efficiently. So sa amin po lahat talaga yung mga equipment na yan. If you want to join the Philippine Navy or Philippine Coast Guard, lahat po ng graduates, I believe, of MAAP and PMMA, automatic po sila na mayroong isang rango. Marine engineer officers specialized in surface ships, submarines, or weapons, whether it's po sila maging ensigns sa Philippine Navy or Philippine Coast Guard. In offshore oil and gas industry, just like the other one, the engineers design, they construct, modify, and operate offshore platforms and associated systems. Ngayon po, very much in demand ang mga marine engineers, not only on board the ship, pati passenger ships. There are so many Filipino engineers there already. And recently, ito pong mga offshores, like drilling platforms, yung mga anchor handling vessels, mga tugboats, drift ships, yung mga FPSO or mga barko na nung araw ay magbibiyahe. Then recently, they made some changes so that they can use that for storing crude oil from the ground to the ship. And then they're going to refine it right on board and deliver it as a finished product. So ito po yung mga FPSO naman. Okay, in the marine surveying, they are the engineers that are inspecting the ships and the offshore installations and plants for safety and insurance purposes. So dami po nating ibang pwedeng pagkitaan. Okay, there is the typical picture of an engine control room. Nandito po lahat ng mga gauges. Then the engineer there is holding the throttle where you can increase or reduce the speed of the main engine, and it can also go on reverse kung kailangan. Meron po siyang dalawang hawak, so probably there are 2 engines on that ship where he can use either one for moving forward and one for going backward para po mabilis sumigo. So it's really complicated right now sa barko. Kaya itong mga taga-MAAP na to, they have gone through extra studies when it comes to electronics because the equipments on board modern ships are now becoming more sophisticated, and it's mostly electronically controlled. So, mas kailangan po ang knowledge about electronics here. As you can see, the engine room is where the main engine, the generators, compressors, pumps, purifiers are located. That's why I said when the ship is in warm climate, tumataas po yung temperature more than 10 degrees as compared to outside temperature because of all these equipments running simultaneously, and of course they are creating a lot of heat, and it's raising the temperature in the engine room. But of course, to remove the heat that's being generated, meron din po silang ventilating system in the engine room where you can find it in each floors and very close to the machineries that's creating all this heat, so that the temperature in the engine room will be maintained in a reasonable level. Hindi naman masyadong pababa, but at least you can work safely while inside the engine room. And there, of course, with this so many equipments there, you have another place where you can escape all this heat. It's in a soundproof, air-conditioned engine control room. Lahat po ng mga barko ngayon meron na niya. And it's also, most of the modern ships now are what we call operated by the bridge or bridge control. Remote control na po yan, just like your car. Hindi na po kailangan ng makinista doon sa ibaba. The deck officers are doing the starting, stopping, and running of the main engine. We just give them the authority to do it. But of course, we are on watch just in case we see that there are some problems or any problem that may crop up, we can immediately take over the control from them. Engine rooms are hot, noisy, and dirty. And of course, because of the so many equipments on board, it's potentially dangerous. The presence of inflammable fuel, high voltage equipments, and internal combustion engines means that a serious fire hazard exists in the engine room. That's why before you go on board, we are trained, especially in firefighting, first aid, just in case you get burned. One of those days that you are working in the engine room, kuminsan po dahil sa init, sometimes you forget that there's an hot object beside you or near you, and when you lean on that, it may create some scalding on your skins, and that's the reason why you should know first aid so that you know exactly what to do right away. And which is monitored continuously by the ship's engineering staff and various monitoring equipments. Okay, as what was mentioned earlier by my good friend Captain Spilyaga here, the marine engineers have to be flexible about working hours and may have to work on shifts. The present structure on board is that the fourth engineer normally works a shift of 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. Then the second engineer works after that, 12 to 4. And then the second engineer or first assistant engineer from 4 to 8. And then tuloy po sila the next hour. Yun naman, balik ulit yung fourth engineer, third engineer, and second engineer. Yung chief engineer po hindi gumagwardya. And the salaries ranges from around US $1,500 up to $12,000. But I know there are some Filipino deck captains or chief